The Senate will come to order. I ask everyone present to please rise and recite with me the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
In the absence of clergy, let us bow our heads in a moment of silent reflection or prayer. The reading of the journal.
In Senate, Tuesday, January 7th, 2020, the Senate met pursuant to adjournment. The journal of Monday, January 6, 2020, was read and approved. On motion, Senate adjourned.
Without objection, the journal stands approved as read. Presentation of petitions, messages from the Assembly, messages from the Governor, reports of standing committees, reports of select committees, communications and reports from state officers, motions and resolutions. Senator Gianaris.
Happy New Year, Madam Lieutenant Governor. It's good to see you again. I believe there's a resolution at the desk to adjourn the 2019 session sine die. I move to read it in its entirety and for its immediate adoption, please.
Secretary will read.
Concurrent Resolution 2342 of the Senate and Assembly by Senator Stuart Cousins relative to the adjournment sine die of the 2019 session of the legislature. Resolved that the 2019 session of the legislature adjourn sine die on Wednesday, January 8th, 2020, simultaneously with the commencement of the 2020 legislative session.
The question is on the resolution. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The resolution is adopted. The 2019 legislative session is now adjourned sine die. I'll bring it again. The Senate will come to order. I ask everyone present to please rise and recite the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Rabbi Hirsch Hurwitz, the Executive Director of the Community Outreach Center of Muncie, will deliver today's invocation.
I share with you this daily prayer uttered by Jews young and old upon waking every morning. For surely today dawns a new day in government. Moida'ani lefanecho, I give thanks before you, Melech Chai v'Kayam, King living and eternal. Shehechazarta bi nishmasi b'chemla, for you have returned within me my soul with compassion. Rabbo eminasecho, abundant is your faithfulness. Our esteemed majority leader, Andrea Stewart Cousins, who took the time to visit us in Muncie following the horrifying Hanukkah attack. She sat in a room filled with community leaders, people who, like all of you, sitting here today, are charged with an awesome responsibility, the well-being of those under your care. Each and every person in that room, and in fact, every single parent in Muncie and beyond, is determined to do everything within their power to keep our precious children, our future, safe from harm and sheltered from baseless hatred. Our leader, Ms. Cousins, spoke about unification against that hatred. She empathetically stated her determination to help effect change within these hallowed halls and implored us to hold strong to our faith. Her words and her call to action still resonate. And so I pray that today dawns a new day. As a Hasidic Jew, I stand before each one of you as an emissary for Jews and non-Jews alike, anyone who has felt or continues to feel discriminated against. In this great state of New York, where the Statue of Liberty stands strong and true welcoming, the huddled masses yearning to breathe free, our differences and diversity should be cause for celebration, not strife. Our humanity is our commonality, along with our fervent shared wish for a changed reality, one where we feel safe sending our children to schools and our families to worship. And so I pray for a new day. I humbly ask the Almighty, our God, that He bless each and every one of you with strength, courage, tenacity, and determination to follow through on your daily dictates with integrity and faithfulness to us all, your constituents back home, rallying and praying for true change. May He guide you in the swift enactment of policies, legislation, and laws that will effectively keep us safe, restore a true sense of peace, keep hate away, and join all New Yorkers in equality, respect, and unity. May today mark the start of not just a new day, but a turning point, where all of you, our elected officials, renew your determination to use your power and persuasion to create positive forward momentum. And with that, we can all wake up every day filled with hope for the future. Amen.
Thank you, Rabbi. I want to thank you for coming, as well as the many guests we have from Muncie, from Rockland, and other areas who've joined us today, the dignitaries and leaders who are here today. I want to welcome you and let you know we are honored by your presence in this chamber today. The Secretary will call the roll to ascertain a quorum.
Senator Adabo. Senator Akshar. Senator Amador. Senator Bailey. Senator Benjamin. Senator Biaggi. Senator Borrello. Senator Boyle. Senator Breslin. Senator Brooks. Senator Carlucci. Senator Comrie. Senator Felder. Senator Flanagan. Senator Funke. Senator Gallivan. Senator Gorin. Senator Janoris. Senator Gunardes. Senator Griffo. Senator Harcum. Senator Hellman. Senator Hoylman. Hoylman? Oh. Senator Jackson. Senator Jacobs. Senator Jordan. Senator Kaminsky. Senator Kaplan. Senator Kavanaugh. Senator Kennedy. Senator Kruger. Senator Lanza. Senator Laval.
Senator Gianaris, a quorum is present. In keeping with the tradition of this chamber, it is my honor as President of the Senate to welcome you to the 2020 session. While we celebrate coming together, reacquainting our friendships, making new ones, looking forward to an impactful and productive session, it is also appropriate that we briefly look back and pay tribute to one of our own that we lost over the last year. And I speak of my good friend, Senator Bill Larkin. Senator Larkin extended his hand in friendship to me from my very first day when I presided, and he welcomed me many times to his district, and we went to his beloved Purple Heart Hall of Fame. And so I just wanted to offer a moment of silence in honor of Senator Bill Larkin. Thank you. I also want to take this opportunity to welcome new Senator Borrello, who's from my neck of the woods. I've spent many times down in your beautiful district and look forward to visiting again. And I encourage you, Senator, as you entered this room for your very first time, known as a senator, that you never forget the awesomeness of gathering with such incredible elected officials who journey from all across the state to do the work of the people. So I welcome you, Senator Borrello. The turbulent times in which we... The turbulent times in which we live compel us to acknowledge something that for a long time had simmered below the surface, but sadly has now reached a boiling point. Since I gavelled in 1 year ago, hate crimes in the state of New York have gone up 20%. Abhorrent acts of anti-Semitism, racism, homophobia, transphobia. Hate has seeped into the underbelly of New Yorkers, and it's manifesting itself through bigotry, ignorance, and violence. And the presence of the rabbi here today and his guest, a reminder that no place is immune, whether it's a college campus, city streets, suburban enclaves, public markets, or even the sanctity of one's home during a holiday observance. Our fellow citizens now live in fear for their safety, in conflict with the promise that was made by former Governor and President of the United States, Franklin Roosevelt. When another time in our history, scary times, he gave what was known as the Four Freedoms speech, declaring that there are 4 freedoms that every human being is entitled to. And one of them is freedom from fear. So how do we live the words of FDR and provide freedom from fear for our citizens? First and foremost, it is our responsibility to condemn it whenever and wherever we see it. Because here in the state of New York, an attack on one of us is an attack on all of us. Yet as frightening as these times are, I believe that we will get through them more unified than ever before. And why do I say that? Because I witnessed firsthand the specter of tens of thousands of New Yorkers as they marched just days ago across the Brooklyn Bridge, sending a loud message across the world that we are united in purpose. And when we come together, when someone under siege needs us, regardless of their background. And second, what gives me optimism about where this state is headed is the historic diversity in this chamber. This sets the example for the rest of the country and future generations to truly see what democracy looks like from the diversity in this chamber. This is New York. But beyond making history, as we did just a year ago when I handed the gavel to my good friend, Majority Leader Andrea Stewart-Cousins, and what a great day that was. But more than just making history, we must make a difference, because many New Yorkers still struggle to make ends meet, and they look to us for hope. Thank you. The business of the people await. And one item of business that I will close on that is deeply personal to me. As we begin in 2020, we stand at the century mark when women were finally granted the right to vote. And that is a movement that, as you all know your New York State history, and if you don't know it, I'll take you to Seneca Falls. It began with brave, audacious women who were New Yorkers. And so, we honor those women of New York, and I wore color purple in recognition of their trials and tribulations to never forget what they strive so hard to do, and the rest of the nation followed their lead. But I think we'd all agree that none of those women of that time, those courageous women who defied the tides of their time, none of them will be satisfied with the progress we've made thus far in our nation and in our state, and neither am I. That's why it remains our moral responsibility, our moral obligation, to fight for full equality, regardless of sex, ethnicity, national origin, age, disability, sexual orientation, or gender identity. We face challenging times ahead, and we must not fall prey to the inflammatory rhetoric that seeks to divide us. Having had the extraordinary privilege of traveling this entire state and seeing so many of you in your fascinating districts, downstate, upstate, from Buffalo to Brooklyn, I know we have more that unites us than divides us because I've seen it. And that is why, if we remain true to our shared values, steeled in our resolve in rejecting hate, and it's ensuring that every single person has the opportunity to achieve their full potential, then there is no stopping us. For we are New York, and we'll once again show the nation the way forward. Thank you very much. Senator Gianaris. Yeah.
Let's please proceed to the regular order of business.
Presentation of petitions, messages from the Assembly, messages from the Governor, Secretary will read.
Dear Majority Leader Stuart Cousins, I would appreciate the privilege of the presence of all the members of the New York State Senate at the Empire State Plaza Convention Center on January 8, 2020 at 1:30 p.m. to deliver the 2020 State of the State and Budget Address. Very truly yours, Andrew M. Cuomo.
To be filed in the Journal, reports of standing committees, reports of select committees, communications and reports from state officers, motions and resolutions. Senator Gianaris.
Madam President, before we proceed with motions and resolutions, can you please recognize our guests from the State Assembly?
Secretary will read. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Recognize the assigned members have arrived.
I'm here to report that the Assembly has organized. We convened our 2020 session. We're ready to receive the remarks of the governor, and we look forward to another productive legislative session this year.
Thank you, Assemblymember Weinstein. Senator Gianaris.
Madam President, there is a resolution at the desk. Please have it read in its entirety, and I move for its immediate adoption.
The Secretary will read.
Senate Resolution 2343 by Senator Stuart Cousins, directing the temporary president to appoint a committee of two to inform the governor that the Senate is organized and ready to proceed with business.
The question is on the resolution. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Resolved directing the temporary president to appoint a committee of two comprised of Senator Harkam and Senator Little for the purpose of informing the governor that the Senate is organized and ready to proceed with business.
Got ahead of myself. My apologies. The question is on the resolution. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Nay? The ayes have it. The resolution is adopted. Senators Harkin and Little are appointed to inform the governor that the Senate is assembled and ready to proceed with business. Senator Gianaris.
Madam President, there's another resolution at the desk. Please have that one read in its entirety. I move for its immediate adoption.
Secretary will read.
Senate Resolution 2344 by Senator Stuart Cousins, directing the temporary president to appoint a committee of two to wait upon the Assembly and inform the body that the Senate is assembled and ready to proceed with business. Resolved, directing the temporary president to appoint a committee of two comprised of Senators Kaplan and Senator Borrello for the purpose of waiting upon the Assembly and informing that body that the Senate is assembled and ready to proceed with business.
The question is on the resolution. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Nay? The ayes have it. The resolution is adopted. Senators Kaplan and Borrello are appointed to inform the Assembly that the Senate is assembled and ready to proceed with business. Senator Gianaris.
At this time, Madam President, please recognize Senator Flanagan for opening remarks.
Senator Flanagan.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, nice to see you. I tried to get up there to see you, but you were mingling amongst the members. And Happy New Year to you, and Happy New Year to all of my colleagues. So I want to start by commending the Rabbi for his thoughtful words and your prayer. Anytime anyone, a person of faith, can stand before us and bless us, we can always use that. I'm very appreciative. And I wrote down strength, courage, tenacity, and determination. You said a lot of other things, but that's what I wrote down. And God knows we're going to need plenty of it as we move into this coming year. So it's wonderful to see you here. And I'm going to add, which I have a penchant for doing, but I'll do it extremely briefly. We are all privileged to serve in this body. We are all privileged to be elected officials. We are all privileged to be public servants. Having said that, every one of us should be proud of what we do. Everyone should be proud of being a New York State Senator representing over 300,000 people. We will have our differences, as you all know, but we have a lot more in common than we do that divides us. So it's very, very important to me to say that time and time again, and hopefully it's a reminder, because when we do have a new colleague join us, now I'm going to smile even broader because he happens to be a new colleague in our conference, but I want to welcome Senator Borrello, who left 3 days ago to come to Albany because he lives so far in the western part of the state. And I looked, he's got a fabulous pedigree. He's a real born and bred New Yorker, family business, It was wonderful to see his family here today for swearing in, because it's reminiscent for all of us of how special a day this is. His district is 4,139 square miles. 4,139 square miles. And on some days, he can get across his district faster than Diane Savino. So we all know what that means, right? All politics is local. So I stand before you today grateful to be here. I'm serving now in my 34th legislative session along. I'm a classmate, although we started in different houses, of Senator Seward. And I think it's appropriate for me to recognize in the Democratic Conference, the senior member of that conference, Senator Belmonette Montgomery, and of course, my good friend and colleague, Senator Ken LaValle. Their longevity is something that should be emulated and embraced and congratulated for their yeoman-like service for a very long period of time. So as we come into this day in particular, this is, in my opinion, this is really the governor's day. This is a day for the governor to present his message to the people of the state of New York. And we play a critical role in that, for sure. Certainly, one, by showing up, two, by listening, and three, by responding. And I hope and feel and pray that my colleagues in the Republican Conference will be thoughtful, be diplomatic, be assertive, be aggressive when need be, and be responsive to the proposals that are being put forth by the governor. A number of them have, so to speak, leaked out, which happens with every governor. That's fine and that's okay. There are things that get out there for the public's review. There's a couple of things out there to salt the media, so to speak, and to give them things to write about in anticipation of what the governor may say. And I am looking forward to what he has to offer as a message, but I'm apprehensive because I've seen some of the things that have come out. I believe the focus of our conference this year will be, as it always is, on our constituents, on the residents that we represent, on the taxpayers and the hardworking, middle-class New Yorkers that many of us represent. We will be one-dimensional, we will be focused, we will be parochial, we will be collegial because we are all state representatives. But our fundamental obligation is to the districts that we represent. My colleague Ken LaValle from the Senate 1st District always says 1st District first. Loves all of you, but he loves his constituents a lot more. And we're all selfish that way, and that's okay, because that's part of the process. But we find ourselves at a time where we have very, very challenging issues for the people of the great state of New York. If you're a taxpayer, it's tough. Woo! It is tough. If you're a business owner, it's even tougher. If you're a business owner someplace else and you're thinking about coming to New York, it's even tougher. We have way too many obstacles, way too many burdens, way too much oversight and regulation that doesn't do really anything to serve the people that we represent, in our opinion. We will offer a bold agenda that is taxpayer-based. We're going to talk about things that have gone by the boards, like a property tax rebate check that our constituents love and that they deserve. We're going to talk about not raising taxes, full well knowing that we have a large deficit. And today is not the day to really get into that. But I want to focus on one thing in particular. Our fundamental obligation includes making sure that people feel safe, not only in their home and in surrounding environs, but in their communities. Madam President, you spoke to this with passion. And that is one of our core obligations. I don't believe that this body has met that obligation. I don't believe the public is as safe as they were a year ago. I don't believe our law enforcement has been given the tools that they need to protect our people in their homes and their communities. I don't believe our district attorneys have been given the proper tools and authority and discretion along with our judges. And as a result, the public is less safe. And it's been borne out in less than 8 days on a daily basis. And the Democrats, the Senate Democrats, the Assembly Democrats, and the governor own that. And I'm sure many of them will say, that's fine. But the people we represent, Democrats, Republicans, Independents, Conservatives, I'm hearing more about these issues than anything else and everything else combined. What should have happened was more diligence. What should have happened was listening to people who are in the trenches every day protecting us, but it didn't happen. And now a lot of people are walking back, including the governor and the mayor of the city of New York and a lot of other elected officials who were in strong support of the changes. They're not making the public safe. That's going to be a critical issue. And when we come into session tomorrow, that should be the only thing that we're dealing with. We have many other things that we'll be dealing with, including the state budget. I want to work with my colleagues. I have great respect for Senator Stewart Cousins, Senator Gianaris, and all my Democratic colleagues. But we're going to mix it up. You know we are. And I want to do it in a way that makes the people that we represent proud. And when I say I want to do it that way, I believe I speak for my colleagues in the Republican Conference, including our newest member, Senator Burrell. Madam President, Senator Stewart Cousins, Senator Gianaris, I am grateful for the opportunity to be able to stand here with you, and let's get about doing the work of the people, again, of the great state of New York. Thank you.
Senator Flanagan. Senator Gianaris.
At this time, Madam President, please recognize the Majority Leader of the State Senate, Andrea Stewart Cousins.
Majority Leader Andrea Stewart Cousins.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Madam President. It is always good when you join us and preside over this auspicious body. And thank you for the words that you spoke and reminding us of who we are and how far we've come, and yet, of course, how much we must do, and we will do it together. I really appreciate your being here. I also want to thank Governor Cuomo. We have accomplished an awful lot together, and obviously there are more victories on the horizon that we look forward to enjoying together. Also, I want to thank my partner in the other house, Speaker Carl Heastie, because we know without the two houses getting together, a lot of what we are celebrating as great accomplishments could not have been achieved. I always thank you, Senator Minority Leader, Senator Flanagan. We do get along despite all of the back and forth. I, again, enjoy working with you and your conference and look forward to having a productive session as usual. And I do want to welcome the new senator. We had a chance to speak a couple of times on the phone. Welcome to our chamber, and I'm sure you will enjoy every day. Come on, right? And then, of course, I want to thank my wonderful conference, the Senate Democrats. And actually, the Lieutenant Governor mentioned what I was going to say, because it's just so important. This conference represents what is great about New York. It represents, in so many ways, the American dream, and it represents America's values. Thank you so much for being courageous and, as the rabbi said, tenacious, hardworking, and honest about public service every day. Thank you. Right now, though, I do want to focus on Rabbi Horowitz's words and take a special moment to thank him and all my friends from Rockland. And let me just tell you who's here, because they don't get to be here often, and I do want to acknowledge our good friend Paul Adler, Rabbi Yehuda Oshri. Why don't you stand when I say your name? Rabbi Yehuda Oshri Sharifrem. We have Asher Grossman, the Deputy Mayor of Spring Valley. Hirsch Wagshall. We have the Supervisor of Ramapo, Michael Stecht, and his Chief of Staff, who I've gotten to know, Mona Montel, and the Chief of Police from Ramapo, Chief Brad Weedell. Thank you so much for being here and for taking time to start us off on just the right tone. Rabbi, when I came to Monsey at your invitation. I was there with my deputy, Senator Gineris, and of course, Senator Carlucci, whose district you reside in. I told you then, and I reiterate to you what I said that day. In the face of ugly, hateful, horrific, this tragedy, the entire Senate stands with you, with your community, as you heal and as you pray. There is no place for hate in this state. None. In fact, what I'd like to do is for all of us just to stand and give Rabbi Horowitz and his colleagues from Muncie Thank you so much again. Your words were encouraging to all of us to stay focused, and we just wanted to make sure that when we say we stand in every, literally, figuratively, and we wanted to send you love back from this chamber to continue to be a beacon for what needs to happen all the time, not only in our great state, but in our nation. And now, of course, to the business at hand. So here we are. We're at the beginning of another session. And like you, I think back to last year when we made all this history and when you handed me the gavel. And as the Lieutenant Governor pointed out, this year, 2020, is the 100th anniversary of the 19th Amendment. Look how far we've come. Look how far we've come. I am so happy and proud to say that women are not only voting, we are leading as we should in every segment of society, and we are going to continue that strong leadership. And getting back to last year also, I think of the victories along the way. We did a lot of hugging and cheering on this side. I think back also to when we gavelled out in mid-June after months and months of nonstop action. We gavelled out ready to be refreshed and renewed, but mostly to go back to our districts and serve our constituents. That's what we did. Last session, and we all know, was busy, it was tiring, it was historic, and for us, we did a record number of hearings on everything. I think it was about 77 to date. And we passed a record number of laws. So I just want to look back. I said we can't rest on our laurels, but it's important because we did a lot of good things. So we'll look back a little bit at what happened last year. We passed the permanent property tax cap. We have the lowest middle-class tax rates in a generation. We finally stood up for women's choice while the federal government looked to take women's rights away. We in this chamber stood up and said no. We held groundbreaking hearings on sexual harassment, passed legislation saying that this scourge had no place in New York. We stood up for our immigrant brothers and sisters during a very scary time. Stood up for the LGBTQ community, saying we're with you. We passed laws that recognize the real dangers of climate change. We passed the Child Victims Act and delivered justice to so many abuse victims. We passed groundbreaking affordable housing and rent control laws. We passed common sense gun laws. And we're working towards reforming our justice system and improving the voting process. These are big, historic changes. They're changes that have created a more affordable New York for working families, a fairer, safer, and more just New York for so many of our neighbors who were denied basic rights and equal treatment under the law for years. And while many of us celebrated these accomplishments, we know that change can still be scary. Change can cause discomfort. It can lead people down a path where fear-mongering, sowing division, spinning false narratives seem attractive. We have to reject this path because when given the choice, we must always create opportunities for progress rather than build barriers to prevent it. We can do so much more to create more opportunities for New Yorkers whose pathway to a better future are blocked by the same old barriers we've been dealing with for generations. Barriers to being able to stay in your home, barriers to getting a quality education, barriers to accessing decent childcare or treatment for addiction. These are barriers that shouldn't exist in New York in 2020. So today, with this new session, we renew our commitment to creating opportunities, to leveling the playing field for children living in poverty in rural villages and inner cities, for homeowners and tenants struggling to make ends meet, pay their property taxes, or make rent, from downstate to upstate, for longtime New Yorkers and new arrivals excited to experience the promise of a great new state firsthand. This next session, we have to continue to be bold. We have to continue to embrace change. It's not going to be easy. We're facing a larger than expected deficit, and we have working and middle-class residents of our state who can't shoulder any more of the tax burden than they already do. But even with these challenges, we must rise to the occasion and meet the needs of our state. We're going to look for ways to fund our education system in a fair manner, make sure all of our students get the proper resources. We're going to find ways to make college more affordable so children can stay in the community and thrive. We're going to make child care more affordable so parents can continue to work and provide for their families. We're going to continue to grow our economy in all parts of the state, make sure we create more jobs. We're going to ensure that our small businesses thrive. We're going to help to bridge the technology gap and even try finally to bring broadband to rural areas. We're going to continue to reform our voting system. We're going to stand up for our brothers and sisters in labor. We're going to continue to look to stop the horrors of gun violence. We're going to look to rebuild our crumbling infrastructure and transportation systems. We're going to continue to take on the opioid crisis that is facing our state and our country. We're going to continue to recognize the dangers of climate change, pass real reforms to clean up our environment. And as we've begun, and finally, we're going to continue to stand up to hate. We're going to say that there's no place for that in our state. And I believe that because we understand the gravity of the work and the fact that we have so much work to do, we're going to do it together the way New Yorkers do. Let's get to work. Happy New Year.
Thank you, Majority Leader, for your heartfelt remarks. Senator Gianaris.
Madam President, this time we have two hand-ups to the desk on behalf of the Majority Leader. There's a hand-up related to Majority Conference membership change that I ask be filed in the Journal. And I also, in consultation with Minority Leader Flanagan, on behalf of Leader Stewart-Cousins, offer a hand-up related to change in Minority Conference membership and ask that also be filed in the Journal.
The hand-ups are received and will be filed in the Journal. Senator Gianaris.
Is there any further business at the desk?
There is no further business at the desk.
I remind my colleagues that we are supposed to be receiving the governor's address at 1:30, so please proceed promptly to the hall for the speech. And with that, I move to adjourn until tomorrow, Thursday, January 9th at 11 a.m.
On motion, the Senate stands adjourned until Thursday, January 9th at 11 a.m.